Welcome to SidekicksDirect, your source for the latest news and interviews straight from the Dallas Sidekicks. Help us grow the channel by hitting the subscribe button and being the first to be notified of new content from the team. Now, here's your host, Scott Wegener.
Welcome into Sidekicks Direct. Sidekicks Direct is presented by the U.S. Army. Put yourself in the boots of a soldier in the U.S. Army and take real steps towards becoming a leader while you make a real difference in the world around you. You'll gain leadership skills in one or more of 150 career fields and find out if you qualify. Take a step forward and become a leader that can make a difference. See yourself in our boots at goarmy.com/DFW. Real quick, if you're watching this on YouTube, we'd love it if you would hit that subscribe button. I think it's about right there. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, hit the subscribe button as well. And if you're listening on Spotify, hit that follow button. Now that I've got all the good stuff out of the way, maybe not the good stuff, we're going to start something here that we're calling our sophomore season series. So talking to a number of Sidekicks rookies from last year. And our first guest, I finally get to you now, is Chris Sendejas. Chris, how are you, man?
Hey, Scott. I'm doing well. How's everything over there?
It's been fun, man. It's definitely been an interesting off season, I guess, considering the season didn't really end with 2 games left on the table. And, we've just been kind of plugging away, hoping to have a 2020-2021 season. So let's start off with the quarantine, I suppose. What have you been up to during the quarantine?
Man, I'm lucky to still be able to work from home. That's been going pretty steady. It's been a little stressful just because, you get out of work and you want to go home and, well, you're already home and there's just like nowhere to go right now. So, it's just adjusting. It's just been a huge adjustment, but thankful to still have some work and my health. Yeah,
I was going to say one of my favorite parts about work essentially is that drive home to kind of like decompress. For me, I listen to podcasts or the radio. I don't know if you're kind of the same way or.
Yep.
Awesome.
Music all day.
Oh, your music. See, I used to be big into like listening to music and just kind of unwinding, but now that I've gotten older, I'm just a podcast nerd. I'm an information junkie.
Yeah, I've gotten into some. I'm definitely trying to watch what I'm consuming, even media wise. So a little bit more reading, but like in the car, man, I guess there's a few podcasts that I've listened to, but I can't say I've really got on too many.
Well, hopefully one of those is Sidekicks Direct. So
yeah.
let's talk about the rookie season, man. Now, if I'm not mistaken, your first game was at Monterey, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you made your debut with the Sidekicks at Monterey against probably the best team in the league. You were essentially just thrown to the wolves. Tell me what that first game experience was like for you.
It was definitely a little taste of reality. You're in the league and you, for me, my first season after having not played on a team in so long, you build up all this confidence in preseason and it just was a complete different level. It was almost a shock to just, but also eye-opening to know, hey, while there's room for growth and it gives you kind of something to work towards. Because like I said, for me, not knowing really what the league was, I think it was good for me. Like, okay, rather than, no disrespect to any teams, but a team that maybe we were a little bit more competitive with. Because that first game was 14-1.
It was a lot to 1. Yes.
I don't remember the score, but it was like, okay, yeah, we really got to buckle down and really, like, while we did some work, it's like there's still a lot of work to be done. So it's it's a good experience just to kind of put things into perspective of, we're professionals, but there's a big, not a big gap, I want to say, but room for growth.
Yeah, Monterey they lost 1 game all year long. They were. Right. I think it's pretty safe to say them and Florida were far and away the 2 best teams in the league. We also had a chance to see Florida here in Allen with the Sidekicks. So you ended up playing in 7 games this year. Talk me through how I mean, we've obviously discussed game one already, but did you get more confident and feel a little bit better as the season went along, as you got more playing time, as you got to see more consistent minutes?
Definitely, I'd say getting the actual in-game experience, and I'd say one thing that helped a lot was taking the time to watch some film. So after having those games having been played and watching other teams, those things definitely helped to kind of give you, like, to see things from the outside, really, to see what it looks like, know what you're doing, and see what else is going on, how you can be more effective, things like that. But throughout the season, yeah, I definitely would say it was a lot of confidence was gained, and fitness, and even more just experience and how to play the game, because it's a transition going from outdoor to indoor. So huge learning curve on top of that. And yeah, I mean, with respect to the difficulty of the season, I mean, the fact that our whole team, almost everyone, has a job outside of it, it's tough. And for everyone to be on the same page 24/7 when you've got so many things going on outside of soccer, it was a huge challenge. But I think, for the most part, I mean, we didn't get the results we wanted, but I mean, we got through it. I would say we definitely grew, and there was we got better throughout the season, and I think the stats kind of showed that too. So even though we didn't get the results we wanted, I'd say I'm pretty proud of the effort we put up, and definitely had fun doing it.
Yeah, it seemed like a little bit of a different team towards the end of the season. The Sidekicks also dealt with some injuries to some key players throughout the year. I want to talk about a guy that was injured, but not for the reason of his injury. We had TJ Nelson on this podcast. I think he was our last guest, as a matter of fact, and he was running his mouth a little bit about your video game prowess, or lack thereof, I suppose. Do you have any reply to TJ saying that you are not the best gamer?
I mean, I just say it's a little unfair. We played one game, and that was probably one of the first games back. Like, I just got that Xbox after, like, I don't know how many years of not having one. So yeah, I mean, he was lying. It was a pretty bad game, and my stats don't really add up to me being a good gamer. But we'll see, man. We got the rest of summer to work on that, and however long this quarantine is gonna last.
Yeah, right. So what video games are your favorite to play?
I'd say probably Call of Duty and FIFA. Those are the two that I have, but I'd say the most fun for me is probably playing NHL. I don't know why. I would like to play hockey on video game. Even back in the day on, like, Super Nintendo, the hockey game was always my favorite, me and my cousin. So that's just kind of always been fun for me to play.
I don't know if you're old enough to remember this or not, but on regular Nintendo, there was a game called Blades of Steel, and it was the most fun hockey game to this day I think I have ever played.
I'd have to see. I definitely played, the old original Nintendo and Atari, and I think some of my cousins still have those games. But yeah, I don't remember the name of the game, but if it's the one I'm thinking of, I think I know what you're talking about, and I would agree.
I loved they would have little fight scenes, so you would get in these fights, and it was just basically who could
Right,
hit AB
yeah,
fast enough. Yeah. It was like sock and boppers in 8-bit video.
The Duck Hunter game. Did you play that one?
Yes.
Duck Hunter was probably second favorite.
Duck Hunter was a fun game. Super Mario 3 was one of my favorites as well.
That's a classic. Yeah.
So speaking of video games, I'm actually working on a little bit of a project right now with some of the Sidekicks. And I don't know if you remember, but there was a game, and I think it was FIFA 98, and they had an actual indoor soccer version of that game. So what I want to do here in the coming months, I just bought the game, and I'm going to give it a little test run here sooner rather than later. And I'm going to get you guys to start playing some indoor soccer on N64, which is before all of your time, because all of you guys are such youngsters, man.
No, I had 64, man. What are you talking about?
Okay, cool.
I'm a little older than some of the guys. I might not look it, but
all right. Let's get back to the soccer type stuff. So you were one of the paciest guys on the team, one of the fastest guys, line to line. Is there anybody on the team that you think that could beat you in a race?
I'd say the only one I think that could was probably Lockridge.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's right.
Lockridge.
Lockridge was quick. He was quick.
There was some times in training and even like the little fitness we would do, sprints. That guy can move too.
So let's talk about fitness. What have you been doing to stay fit during this COVID quarantine period?
I'd say nothing unusual or different from my normal routine. Just, make the time to go for a run, ride my bike. I've been riding my bike a little more, take my soccer ball with me, find a spot and just juggle a ball. Um, I don't know, man. I would say I'm not really pushing fitness, just trying to maintain a certain standard and trying to ride out this quarantine, really. I think try not to stress myself too much with everything else that's going on. So, yeah, I'm definitely not, slacking off, but trying to keep it chill.
I'm sure that Coach Simone and Jesse and Fabinho will be happy to hear that you're definitely not, quote, slacking off. So they'll be thrilled to hear that one.
Hey,
man.
Hey, we can show up right now. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready. It's not that the fitness is still there. Can't say I'm pushing like to trying to, like I said, doing I got a pull-up bar. I'm just kind of focusing on other things. Doing more, I guess, some strength stuff, but like I said, flexibility, really just more focusing on, I don't know, getting my mind straight. I think there was a lot that went on my personal life. So just trying to keep a cool head and get ready for next season.
So I had the awesome opportunity. I met your dad after one of the games, and him and I chatted after a few of the games. And he was kind of telling me a little bit about your journey that you had taken and how you sort of ended up in Dallas, I suppose, with the side. Well, not ended up in Dallas, but you've traveled a little bit for soccer and had some bad luck, correct?
Yeah, actually. So after college, I had opportunity to kind of go on a foreign exchange type trip, but it was definitely soccer related. And I went to Santa Cruz, Bolivia. And I stayed with a family down there, was training with a third division team and was there 2 to 3 months. And it was a lot of fun. I wasn't getting paid, but I didn't have anything to worry about. I was just, go train. It was just training, really. So it was like kind of like a retreat for soccer. But there was more that came from it. I wouldn't say it was all soccer, but the fact that all my attention and focus was really for that, kind of to trying to make something out of nothing, really, because it's not like there was like, hey, here's this tryout. It was like, you can come and play on this team. So I went out there, made some friends, made some family, got to go to La Paz and train with the Bolivar pre-professional team. And I got to live in the, I guess what you would call the dorms that the academy players live in, and very humbling experience. It was awesome. To get to train at that level again, it was like being in high school all over again, except I wasn't in school. So it was all the training that you could want and ask for without the school.
I was gonna say all the fun stuff besides having to go to class,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, it was awesome. So that was maybe like 5 months. And throughout, I guess it was like month 3 when I was there, I started feeling this pain, and what turned out to be a sports hernia, just diagnosed like 6 months later. So I was training on this thing for the longest time without really knowing what it was. So I had a little time in Bolivia, came back home, rested up a bit, got to go to McAllen, Texas, and was training with the RGB Toros with Coach Rafa Amaya. And at the time, the head coach, I can't remember his name, but it was cool to be able to go out there. They invited me to, there was no money to offer, but they invited me to stay and continue to train. And at the time, just because of I guess just financial stuff, being that I'd already graduated college, student loans, and all these things, car payment, I didn't want to just like let those things go by. So I took some time to go out there and train to kind of maintain a level. in hopes that maybe, you know, after recovery, something would happen. But no, I mean, I came back to Dallas, and through the recommendation of someone that was there and with the Toros, recommended me to go to an agency in Chicago that takes teams to Scandinavia, and they get trials out there. And so it was cool to train. I mean, I got to train with them, and I think it was like a week or 2 weeks before the trip was when I was diagnosed with the sports hernia. And so I came back home, you know, didn't take that trip. And that was like a year after. That was already July to July. So a year of since when I had left to Bolivia. And through the grace of God and I guess, you know, people looking out, I had a cousin who was able to give me an opportunity with a contract job at Southwest Airlines. And kind of from there, ended up staying there, converted to full-time, and kind of always just stuck with, you know, soccer's always just been a part of my life. So I knew that would never go anywhere, maybe never played professional. And then just, you know, staying around the sport, playing with some of the guys that I play, like RJ, Billy, who were on the team that I play, outdoor team I was playing with. They were invited me to just come out and kick around, and ended up getting a contract. And so it's been awesome. It's been a great last 3 years, even with all the ups and downs. It's been a roller coaster of emotions, but it's all been worth it. Everything that I've kind of put myself through to kind of just to see what could be. I'm pretty, I would say, pretty happy with the last couple of years of my life.
Awesome. So we did just talk to RJ on the podcast, and he announced his retirement. Are you sad to see the old man go?
Yeah, man. RJ was pretty good to me, man. He like I said, I was on Legends with him on an outdoor team, and he'd invited me to come help him out and work with him with his company, and then also to come out with Sidekicks. So yeah, no, it definitely a good dude to have around.
All right, I want to move away from the soccer stuff momentarily. So when I first met you, it was, probably 9 months ago or so at this point. I learned that you were super into movies, you know, documentaries, TV shows, things like that. And it's something that I love movies. I love watching documentaries. It's like one of my favorite things in the world to do. How's the movie game been going since we entered quarantine? Are you keeping up with the movies? Have you kind of fallen off? Have you been watching shows? What's been going on with that?
I've actually fallen off on movies. There have been more like, yeah, let me try this one out, and then I end up knocking out at the end of the night. But no, I've watched a couple of documentaries, a couple of shows. There was a new 30 for 30 on Bruce Lee, Be Water. He's one of my role models, idols. So I loved watching that. There's, let's see, on YouTube, one of my favorite musicians, the late Bob Marley. He has it's a new, I guess, a YouTube video series. And what caught my attention is, I mean, if you don't know, he was a soccer player, a soccer fan as well. And caught my attention is the 4th episode is about him and I guess his soccer. And so it's cool because you get to see, you know, all these people that he was really close to, like really like his right-hand people, like his people that, you know, they do interviews with, and they share, you know, some old footage and videos and pictures. It was really cool. And I really like his music, so that was really cool to watch and kind of get to know a little bit more about him personally. Other than that, man, I can't say I've been watching too much TV. I've been doing some reading, though.
Anything good?
Reading this book called In Defense of Food right now.
Okay.
It's about plants, and yeah, all the guys are going to laugh about this because, you know, we all, like, half the team tried to go vegan for a while, and I was probably one of those guys. Thanks to Raul.
I was going to say, I know Raul's vegan. I was going to ask if he was the one that kind of inspired that movement.
Yeah, I'd say we were just kind of having conversation, and he mentioned, you know, some of the benefits that he felt. And I guess they were kind of things in my life that I recognize as pain points, you know, waking up in the morning, He was like, yeah, I wake up great. And so I was like, okay, I'll try that. I'll just try it. And I didn't regret it. And I'm not going to say I'm completely vegan. I would still eat a taco every now and then. Or
Who can turn down a taco, my dude? Come on.
that's what I'm saying. Especially mama's tacos. It slapped me.
So real quick, back to movies. Do you have a top 5 movies from the past couple of years that you've seen? I know you said you've kind of fallen off the movie watching bandwagon lately, but what are your favorite films that you've ever seen, I guess, or favorite directors even? You can kind of take that question and run with it however you'd like.
I'd say top 5. It'd probably be, this is just off the top of my head. Let's go with the Boondock Saints. Gonna go with Goal, Kuno Becker. You remember that one?
I love Goal, man. Santi.
Yeah, that one still hits, man.
I love that movie. I was just talking about that movie the other day, actually.
Goal, anything Quentin Tarantino, but I'd say if I had to pick one, I for the first time watched what is it? One with the car. I forgot what it's called.
One with the car.
Death Race? No, I can't remember. But
I
that
know
one,
the Tarantino one with the car.
oh, dude, you got to watch it. I can't remember. I can't believe I don't remember the name, but that one's really good. But anything by Quentin Tarantino is good. I haven't seen the most recent one though. I still need to watch that.
Is that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yes, that one.
Okay. So I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And like, thank God it had Leo and Brad, because I love Tarantino as well. But man, this movie drags on forever.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know like Tarantino movies are known, they're always longer. They always kind of have that spell in the middle where you gotta be committed to the movie. But the last 20 minutes of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood make it pay off. Plus Margot Robbie's in it, so I got no complaints.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. And I'd say it's probably Saving Private Ryan.
Okay.
I don't know. Number 5. I don't know. Well, I'll have to. Those are the 4 off the top of my head. Top 4. We'll go with that.
Okay. Man, Goal. That's so weird. I was just talking about that the other day with a friend. We were talking about soccer movies. And he had never seen Goal. And I was like, what are you talking? What do you mean you've never seen Goal? It's the ultimate soccer movie.
Yeah. And I actually even just recently ordered the second one with Nick Cannon.
Yeah. Goal 2. I dig it. I definitely dig it. All right, man, before I let you go here, I want to ask you, this is our sophomore season series, sitting down with Chris Sendejas. What are you looking forward to most in your sophomore year with the Sidekicks?
I'd say just the chance to kind of to prove myself again, and the opportunity to wake up every day and know I'm going to get to play some soccer. I'd say to build on last year and to just improve on everything that we did on and to really just to enjoy it more. I'd say last year I kind of put myself through a lot of stress, just like and didn't really get to just enjoy it, you know. So yeah, I'd say I'm really looking forward to this next season for sure.
All right, Sidekicks Direct is presented by U.S. Army. Put yourself in the boots of a soldier in the U.S. Army and take real steps towards becoming a leader while you make a real difference in the world around you. You'll gain leadership skills in one of more than 150 career fields. Find out if you qualify, take a step forward, and become a leader that can make a difference. See yourself in our boots at goarmy.com/DFW. Chris, I want to thank you, man. It's awesome chatting with you. I look forward to running into you at practices and shooting the breeze about movies and documentaries. I'm going to go home and watch the Bob Marley one here probably this weekend after some Premier League action tomorrow. That's the one question I forgot that I was going to ask you. Have you been watching soccer since it came back, Bundesliga, Premier League?
No, not really. I've seen some highlights. I've been watching more MASL highlights, man, or MASL games.
Okay. I won't fault you for that, and it's a good answer for the coaches as well because I know they pay attention to these. So, Chris, thanks so much for taking the time, man, and we'll look forward to seeing you this season, and good luck on your sophomore season.
Thank you, sir. Take care. Thanks for having me.